Kusama Infinity Rooms. Imagine stepping across a threshold, leaving the solid, predictable world behind. The door closes, and suddenly, you are nowhere and everywhere at once. You are suspended in a silent, shimmering cosmos, a galaxy of lights stretching into an impossible, unending distance. This isn't a dream, nor is it a digital simulation. This is the raw, perception-shattering power of a Yayoi Kusama Infinity Room. These installations are more than just art you look at. They are environments you inhabit, experiences that fundamentally challenge your sense of self and space. They are meticulously crafted paradoxes, small mirrored boxes that contain the boundless universe. At the National Gallery of Victoria in Melbourne, this journey into the infinite becomes a tangible reality, offering a portal into the mind of one of the most significant artists of our time. To understand what you're stepping into, you have to understand the core philosophies that drive every single dot, light, and reflection, the concepts of self-obliteration and endless repetition. Let's begin with the most profound and personal of Kusama's ideas, self-obliteration. This isn't a destructive concept, but a transcendental one. For Kusama, it's about dissolving the ego, the self, and merging with the vastness of the universe. This idea stems directly from her personal life and her well-documented struggles with mental health. Since childhood, she has experienced vivid hallucinations, often involving patterns like polka dots or nets overwhelming her vision, threatening to consume her. In these moments, she felt her own existence, her very self, disappearing into the pattern. Instead of succumbing to this fear, she channeled it into her art. Art became her therapy, a way to control the chaos and share her unique perception with the world. When you stand in an infinity room, you are, in a sense, stepping directly into one of these hallucinations. The mirrors reflect your image over and over, splintering your singular form into an infinite crowd. Your reflection becomes just another element in the pattern, no more or less important than the hanging lanterns or glowing pumpkins around you. You are simultaneously the observer and the observed, the subject and a part of the landscape. This is the obliteration of the self she speaks of, a meditative, sometimes disorienting, but ultimately profound experience of losing your individual boundaries and becoming one with the infinite. It's a radical act of connection in a world that often emphasizes individuality and separation. This leads directly to the second pillar of her work, endless repetition. Look at any piece of Kusama's art and you will see this principle in action. Fields of polka dots, vast canvases covered in looping infinity nets, or rooms filled with identical phallic-shaped sculptures. Repetition is her language. On one level, it's a direct representation of her obsessive-compulsive tendencies, a way of coping with her psychological state through methodical, repetitive action. The act of painting dot after dot, net after net, is a form of active meditation. But it's also a powerful artistic tool. Repetition creates rhythm and pattern, drawing the viewer into a hypnotic state. It transforms simple objects, like a pumpkin or a dot, into something more, a building block of the universe. Inside an infinity room, this repetition is amplified to an exponential degree by the mirrors. A single lantern becomes 1,000. A dozen stuffed pumpkins becomes a sprawling, endless field. This repetition isn't static, it's dynamic. As you move, your infinite reflections move with you, creating a dizzying, ever-shifting landscape. It speaks to cosmic ideas, the endlessness of space, the infinite nature of time, the countless stars in the sky. It also touches on more modern anxieties, the endless scroll of social media, the repetitive nature of our daily routines, the feeling of being just one face in a massive anonymous crowd. Kusama's repetition is both a source of comfort in its rhythmic predictability and a source of awe in its sheer, incomprehensible scale. The NGV Melbourne exhibition, therefore, is not simply a collection of pretty rooms. It is a carefully curated pilgrimage into Kusama's psyche. It's an invitation to confront these fundamental ideas of self, space, and infinity. The physical construction of these rooms is deceptively simple: a cube, often no larger than a small bedroom, lined with mirrors on all sides. Objects are placed inside: glowing LED lights, colorful polka-dotted sculptures, paper lanterns, and a small viewing platform allows one or a few people to step inside. The magic happens in the interplay between the reflective surfaces. Light bounces from mirror to mirror, creating an illusion of depth that feels utterly real and completely boundless. You know logically that you are in a small enclosed space. You can probably hear the faint sounds of the gallery outside. But your senses tell you something entirely different. They tell you that you are floating in the deepest reaches of space or standing in a field of glowing flora that stretches beyond any horizon. This sensory conflict is the heart of the experience. It's a gentle disruption of reality, a moment that forces you to question your own perception and to simply surrender to the overwhelming visual information. It's an escape, a meditation, and a confrontation all at once, setting the stage for an unforgettable journey before you even consider the practicalities of the visit. Block 2. NGV Kusama Experience. Having grasped the profound concepts of self-obliteration and endless repetition, we can now focus on the tangible experience of visiting the Yayoi Kusama exhibition at NGV Melbourne. This isn't your typical, quiet, contemplative stroll through a gallery. It's an event, an adventure with its own unique rhythm and set of rules, all designed to preserve the intimate, mind-altering nature of the artwork. The first thing you'll likely encounter is the queue, and yes, there will almost certainly be a queue. But it's essential to reframe this not as an inconvenience, but as part of the ritual of anticipation. The lines are a testament to the magnetic pull of Kusama's work. They exist for a crucial reason: to protect the experience. An infinity room is designed for solitude or for a very small group. Its magic would be shattered by a crowd. The gallery's timed entry system is the gatekeeper of this magic. Typically, you and perhaps one or two other people are allowed into a room for a very brief, strictly enforced period, often as short as 20 or 30 seconds. The door opens, you step in, the door closes, and the clock starts ticking. This brief, fleeting encounter is a core part of the artistic experience itself. It creates a sense of urgency, a heightened state of awareness. You don't have time to overanalyze or become complacent. You are forced to be utterly present, to absorb as much as you can in the few precious moments you have. My first tip for maximizing this visit is to embrace this limitation. Before you enter, take a deep breath. Put your phone away for the first few seconds, just in the space. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness and allow the illusion of infinite space to wash over you. Absorb the scale, the color, the feeling of suspension. After you've had that pure, unmediated moment, then you can think about capturing it. In terms of planning, timing your visit can make a significant difference. Weekday mornings, right at opening time, are often your best bet for smaller crowds and a more relaxed atmosphere. Late day or special evening sessions can also offer a different vibe. Check the NGV's ticketing policies carefully. Often, these high-demand exhibitions require booking weeks or even months in advance. Don't expect to just show up and walk in. Planning is paramount. Now, let's talk about photography, the great companion and potential disruptor of the modern art experience. Kusama's rooms are, without a doubt, some of the most Instagrammable artworks ever created. They are a photographer's dream. However, there are rules, both official and unspoken. The most important official rule is absolutely no flash photography. A sudden flash completely destroys the carefully calibrated lighting inside the room, ruining the illusion for you and resetting your eyes adjustment to the dark. It's the cardinal sin of visiting an infinity room. The unspoken rule is one of respect. Remember that you only have a handful of seconds. Fumbling with camera settings or trying to stage the perfect selfie can mean you miss the actual experience entirely. My advice? Know your phone's camera settings beforehand. Low light mode is your friend. Decide on 1 or 2 quick shots you want to get and then put the phone down. Capture your silhouette against the cosmos or a close-up of the repeating lights, but don't let the quest for a photo obliterate the moment of self-obliteration the artist intended. While the specific rooms on display can vary, the NGV exhibition will likely feature a selection of Kusama's iconic creations. Imagine stepping into a room like Paris is perhaps the most famous infinity room. You stand on a narrow walkway surrounded by water in a room of mirrors filled with hundreds of hanging, flickering LED lights. The effect is breathtaking. You feel like you're floating, untethered in a silent, vast galaxy. The lights shift in color and intensity, creating a gentle, cosmic pulse. It's serene, meditative, and deeply moving. Then you might move on to a completely different experience, like this one is unique because it's interactive. The experience begins in a completely sterile, all-white domestic environment, a white living room with a white sofa, a white table, white chairs. Upon entry, each visitor is handed a sheet of colorful, circular stickers, Kusama's signature polka dots. You are invited to place your dots anywhere you like. Over the course of the exhibition, the pristine white space is utterly consumed or obliterated by a chaotic, joyful explosion of color. The room transforms from a blank canvas into a vibrant, collaborative masterpiece. You become a co-creator of the artwork, your individual mark joining thousands of others to create a collective whole. It's a brilliant physical manifestation of the idea of the individual self dissolving into a larger entity. These contrasting experiences highlight the incredible range of emotion and thought that Kusama can evoke using the same fundamental principles of repetition and mirrored space. These contrasting experiences highlight the incredible range of emotion and thought that Kusama can evoke using the same fundamental principles of repetition and mirrored space. Block 3. Kusama's Vision Impact. Stepping out of the final infinity room at the NGV, your senses buzzing and your perception of space slightly warped, you are left with a powerful, lasting impression. To truly appreciate the weight of this experience, we must look beyond the dazzling spectacle and delve into the life and vision of the woman who created it. Yayoi Kusama's journey is one of the most remarkable and inspiring in the history of modern art. It is a story of immense struggle, unwavering perseverance, and the triumphant power of creativity over personal demons. Born in Matsumoto, Japan in 1929, Kusama experienced a difficult childhood, clashing with a family that disapproved of her artistic ambitions and enduring the trauma of her father's infidelities. It was during this time that her famous hallucinations began, visions of dots and nets that would cover everything she saw. For her, art was not a choice, it was a necessity, a lifeline. It was her way of processing the shock and fear of these episodes. In the late 1950s, she made the bold move to New York City, the epicenter of the art world. She arrived with little money and limited English, but with a fierce determination to make her mark. During this period, she created her groundbreaking paintings, enormous canvases covered in minuscule, repetitive loops of paint. These were physically and mentally grueling to create, but they laid the conceptual groundwork for her later immersive installations. They were, in essence, two-dimensional infinity rooms. She was an active and influential figure in the avant-garde scene, a contemporary of artists like Andy Warhol and Claes Oldenburg. In fact, her pioneering work with soft sculptures and immersive environments predated many of their most famous works. Yet, as a non-Western woman in a male-dominated art world, she was often overlooked, and her ideas were sometimes co-opted without credit. The immense pressure of this environment took its toll on her mental health, and in 1973, she returned to Japan. Since 1977, she has voluntarily lived in a psychiatric institution in Tokyo, which provides her with the stability and care she needs to continue her prolific artistic practice. Her studio is just a short walk away, and she continues to work tirelessly every single day well into her 90s. This biography is not a footnote, it is the very soul of her work. Every polka dot is a remnant of a hallucination. Every pumpkin is a symbol of comfort and stability, an object she found beautiful and reassuring since her childhood. Every infinity room is an attempt to control and share the overwhelming sensations of infinity and obliteration that have defined her life. This deep, personal authenticity is a major reason why her work resonates so powerfully with audiences today. We live in an age of curated digital identities, often feeling disconnected and overwhelmed. Kusama's art offers a genuine, unfiltered look into a human mind grappling with profound existential questions. But why has her work, especially the Infinity Rooms, exploded in popularity in the 21st century? Part of the answer undoubtedly lies in the rise of social media. The rooms are visually stunning and create the perfect backdrop for a selfie, a way to place oneself quite literally inside the art. This has led to a debate. Does the Instagrammable nature of her work dilute its deeper meaning? Is the quest for the perfect photo overshadowing the artist's intent of self-obliteration? It's a valid question, but perhaps it's not a simple binary. One could argue that the act of sharing a photo from an infinity room is a new form of participation. It broadcasts the experience, extending the repetition and reflection into the digital realm. Millions of individual selfies coalesce online into a collective digital mosaic, a modern interpretation of becoming part of a larger whole. Ultimately, the cultural impact of Kusama's vision is undeniable. She has fundamentally changed the relationship between the artwork and the viewer. She doesn't want you to simply stand back and admire her creation. She demands that you step inside it, that you become an active component of it. This shift from passive observation to active immersion is one of the most significant trends in contemporary art, and Kusama is its high priestess. Her work bridges the gap between the deeply personal and the universally cosmic. It takes her private struggles with anxiety, obsession, and depersonalization and transforms them into shared experiences of wonder, awe, and contemplation. The NGV Melbourne exhibition is a showcase of this incredible alchemy. It's a chance to see the world through her eyes, to feel the terror and beauty of the infinite. Yayoi Kusama's legacy is not just in the objects she creates, but in the moments she engineers, those brief, breathtaking seconds inside a mirrored box where we lose ourselves and in doing so find a new connection to the universe.